A very good afternoon and welcome to this brief show. Of course, we are live in Ismailia at the Machua Hotel where the Uganda Hippos are camped here in Egypt where they are for the AFCON under 20 tournament. Of course, yesterday the team played in their first match of Group B against Central African Republic and they won 2-1. Of course, many out there want to know what happened in that match, what the coach had to say after that victory in the first game. With me, I am with the head coach of the Uganda Hippos, Jackson Mayanja, and he will be telling us more of what transpired in the game and what next, of course, after that victory over Central African Republic. Coach, you're welcome, and of course, many out there are waiting to hear what really transpired from the match.
Thank you very much. First of all, it's a very great honor that we won the first game. You see, always in big stages like this is always not very easy. If you win a first game, then you must always build on that, what you have in the next games. But I think during this game, in the first half, we never had a very good game. But at least the boys, because of the stage, most of these boys, it's their first time to play in this stage, apart from the captain, Gurusi. And in the second half, we came back when they were really up, and then we had a very good game in the second half, which I think we are going to build on that as we play our next game against Congo.
Coach, talking about the first half, things didn't go as planned, but in the second half, of course, the boys changed everything and put up probably a performance you thought was very impressive on the afternoon. Coach, what did you tell the boys during halftime that made them change everything in the second half?
Yeah, because you see, the boys need to know our style of play. So I was really very angry about that because we have trained for almost 1.5 months. We have had very many build-up games, and they needed to wake up and start playing the way I want them to play and the way the team philosophy is. So they didn't play that in the first round. So that's what they did in the second half, and in the beginning, the first half, I did so a bit casual, thinking that maybe, like I said, always the first games, very difficult for young lads in such a big tournament.
Coach, you've already said that the first game is always very difficult to play. Here you come, you get 3 points. How important were the 3 points to the team? Because when you try and look back in the previous edition in Mauritania, the Hippos lost 2-1 to Cameroon in the first game. How important was the win yesterday?
Yeah, I don't want so much to talk about the last edition so much. This is a very new edition with new players, with new managers and so on. But I think it's a very big motivation for this team, the Hippos and Uganda as a whole, en route the goals I set for this team to go to the World Cup, and for Uganda as large, and even for you, the media people, that we need to see this team to the World Cup.
Coach, always talking about the World Cup, ever since you got this role as the coach of the Hippos, you've been singing about the World Cup. How a motivation is it every time the team is playing?
Yeah, you see, if you set a goal, not even only in football, but you set a goal, your personal goals, and you can always achieve them. If you set all your eyes, whatever you are doing, that I need to have this, I need to be this, is very important. So I set that goal for the players. I know it is a bit difficult. It was huge in the beginning before even we qualified to come here. But I know it would help us to know that where we are going for Sekafa and then qualification, it's not where we belong. We must have another challenge, because Uganda, even under 5, has never qualified for the World Cup. So I wanted to set that goal so that everybody knows. I know everybody now is very anxious to see the team going to the World Cup. Of course, we can go, we shall go. If we don't go, it's not a big problem, because that's what I said. So I want to achieve this goal. If I can achieve it with a team, it will be the same for Uganda.
Coach, yesterday, after the match of Uganda and Central African Republic, the next match saw Congo Brazzaville play South Sudan, which Congo won 2-1, and you happened to watch that game with your technical team. how important was that, first of all, for you to watch that match, and how do you rate your next opponents, Congo Brazzaville?
The Congolese are, Congolese naturally, they know the game. They know how to play the game. The Congolese, even you see these players who have been playing in Uganda, in East Africa, you see them. Naturally, they understand the game. They have that football intelligence. But I think it's not a bad team. But I know my team has the best qualities in some areas. Like we don't. These players are not so strong than our players. I think we shall handle them as they come.
Coach, still related to that, playing against Congo in the second match, how important is that game in attempt to qualify for the quarterfinals?
This is the game we need to kill it off, because if we can win Congo, then we must know we are ready in what? In a quarterfinals. This is the game of this boy's life and the game of the lives of the technical people and Uganda life. If we really want not to go into the mathematics and so on, if we can't win it, then we have to get a point from that game. At least we have another hurdle to settle it down.
Talking about the performance in yesterday's game, the second goal of striker Dembe. In one of the sessions in Kampala, there are some sessions where you try to tell him how to do exactly that, and you were happy when he scored, of course, that goal. For the benefit of the viewer, how important was it to see a player do what you told him in training on such a big stage?
It's very exciting, and that's why I called him after scoring. I called him to say thank you, because I think it's very good for a coach to see whatever he's putting into the young lads, and they try to do them on the pitch. That shows that that boy or some players have been really so much interested in whatever you're training them. So it was good to see Dembe score such a beautiful and fantastic goal. It's like it was a classic goal. It was a classic goal, like you see in the Premier League. If you look at the TV again, people will look at it again, and even himself, he will always look at it again, and his family, he will really see that, yeah, that was a fantastic goal. So he will rate himself like these Haalands and so on. The way he was, the execution he used was a class above this stage.
Coach, usually in tournaments, of course, now in this tournament, all teams went with 25 players in their final squads. It is sometimes hard to see probably all those 25 making it to a matchday squad, depending in the match. Do you think you will have all the 25 players that came here in Egypt appear on a given match day?
I believe in that. I believe in that. It's very bad to bring a player and then he doesn't even feature on the bench, and it's always not so good. So I've always told them, even in training I've been doing that. Wherever we could play the full size, I could always mix some up, let them play tomorrow, that one doesn't play tomorrow. So the same thing will happen here, that I will try and see whatever happens, and we see in the next, if we can win the game tomorrow, then you will see the whole team almost having that chance, to have a chance to fill the AFCON Total Energies tournament, because that one gives a player also to know, and know, yes, the coach believes in every player.
Coach, qualifying for the World Cup is much important for the players, but also to the technical team. In particular you, it is important, just in case the team qualifies for the World Cup. How important will it be to you as a coach?
I think it's not all about me. These things is two-way. These are two-way things. First of all, it will be very important for the federation. Not only for Mayanja Jackson, for the federation, because they would have broken 2 genics. They broke the genics of the 39 years. 39 years. Now they break another genics of any Ugandan team to qualify for the World Cup in terms of the football, the beautiful game, the sport, football as a sport. Because World Cups, many people have gone there in these other sports, but for football, it will be a very big achievement for Uganda and for the federation. And again, even the government of NRM will be a very big achievement to them, because there is no regime has ever qualified football as a sport in the World Cup. So that's why I set that goal. So it will have, for me, it will create something that I have done, I have seen it all, I have done it all. I won't be very much excited or what, because this is where I belong.
Now, coach, of course, during your playing days, you happened to have a professional stint here in Egypt with Masri, a side based in Port Said. Coach, when the team came to Egypt, the first time they came to Egypt, of course, you were familiar with some situations like the language, of course, the food, and up until when the team also came here in Ismailia. How has that helped the team and you personally for the team to acclimatize here in Egypt?
Yeah, but football is a bit different. I might be as personally acclimatize myself in terms of the language, but if there are some things I've been helping the team for some reasons of the Arabic type things, because I know. But the food, I think, has no problem. The food has no problem. The players got away with it very quickly. It's the normal food sometimes we eat at home, the rice and bread and so on. At least they eat whatever they can. So we only refuse them to eat whatever they don't know. So it's very good for the only problem I saw was the weather. Because this weather doesn't know anybody. Even if you have ever played here, you have not, because I've taken quite a long time, this couple of years, me to come back to Egypt. It's my first time I have come back to Egypt as a country. But I'm happy that people recognize me so much here in Spain. But that's where I did play from. I played in El Masri in Port Said. So I'm really, I'm okay. I'm at home, at least somehow.
Coach, your parting shots, of course, in relation to this very tournament and probably the team achieving this goal of going to the World Cup.
What? Come again?
Your parting shots, like in a way of concluding.
First of all, let me take this chance to thank the Federation and the government of Uganda